Ah, is that working now?
Yes, that's working fine.
Sorry about that.
No problem at all.
Okay, it's just giving me a message that my system is unstable. So this is the context. I'll rattle on even faster than usual. It is fundamental that the natural capital audit and its results are fully integrated with our business, not only at annual corporate reporting and accounting, and certainly not as a standalone bolt-on or afterthought. Otherwise, there would be a very significant risk that the estate's natural capital assets are not only undervalued, but that potential business development opportunities would be missed. Under the leadership of His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, we have an overarching corporate objective to maintain and enhance the estate's environmental assets for the benefit of current and future generations. The Duchy of Cornwall's estate covers over 130,000 acres, and we've approximately 200 farm tenants from the Isles of Scilly up through Herefordshire and across to Kent. And in terms of background, there have been many individual environmental projects over several decades, and it's essential from now on to provide a centralised database to better capture these and thereby create a live audit against which we can effectively target and monitor delivery of environmental change. So in terms of integrated delivery of our Duchy of Cornwall's corporate objectives, you can see they embrace the triple bottom line, as it were, in terms of economy, in terms of social values and environmental. So we're well placed to carry these forward, and this clearly sets the direction for integrated delivery. In the following few slides, I just want to quickly drill down into our database so that you can see how we're collating the information and to illustrate the various data layers with some screenshots from the database. So there's three main strands that we look at. One is to complete a baseline audit for each farm, and the farmed area is about just under 69,000 acres. And we're going to complete this by April 22. And this will look at the extent, the condition of existing features and the 7 natural capital elements that we're looking at, namely soil, water, biodiversity, historic interest, access and recreation, the broader landscape, and air quality. The second strand in the audit is to look at potential enhancements to assess the maintenance requirements of new features that we want to put in place, the opportunities for developing the natural capital assets on each farm and its wider landscape. And thirdly, and most importantly, the third strand is to agree farm plans with the tenants. And we definitely take an approach of co-creating agreed farm plans with them. So looking at more closely at the baseline audit and the kind of products that we can now get from our QGIS system, there are 4 levels within this, each farm, namely the property or holding overview. We capture data at each field parcel. We map in the various features of the 6 different natural capitals, and we identify the actions required for their maintenance or enhancement. And this is an example of the kind of map, if you're familiar with QGIS, at the holding level, showing the baseline features. So if I can show you with my cursor, this is one of the farms that has been surveyed. You can see that the existing features of woodlands, winter bird food, strips, there are streams, there's a traditional orchard, and the hedges are mapped in. And at this level, the farm holding level, we capture information on these forms, summary of the farm itself, its access, its biodiversity, historic interest, soil, landscape, water, and air quality. In other words, the 7 natural capital features that we assess. These are related back to our corporate objectives and in turn key performance indicators. And this is an example of one for soil. whereby all holdings are protecting their soils by adopting safeguarding measures with no high risk scores of 6 and above. And what I mean by a risk score is that the metric is calculated using a multiple of inherent risk. In this case, there's 3 levels: low, medium or high, and the management risk, in other words, what kind of cropping is going on that might either mitigate against a high risk or exacerbate it potentially. And so that simply gives a multiple range of 1 to 12, and our KPI threshold for action, for discussion with the tenant, would be 6 or over. So you can see that the data we're capturing at the field level is relating back to our corporate key performance indicators. The second strand, as I mentioned, is potential enhancement. And this is really an opportunity for the surveyor to set the ambition within the context of integrated delivery. So we develop a potential natural capital plan for each farm that integrates the management requirements for the protection and or maintenance of all existing features of environmental value, including soil, water and air quality. It will look and set opportunities to create more and larger areas of high quality habitats on each farm, and which also provide enhanced ecological connectivity for species, very much the Lawton principles of biodiversity. And this is done at the farm level, and then we can aggregate that across the landscape from farm to farm and across the whole estate. This potential enhancement strand will also identify opportunities in the other natural capitals, such as access, infrastructure and information, the condition of historic features, and any local landscape features that might be of importance. So here we have, if you can remember, the original baseline map, where there were some woodlands down here, a traditional orchard and hedges. We've set out an ambition here to create much more woodland connectivity and scrub, that much maligned but very, very important natural capital habitat, a string of ponds down the valley that runs across the farm to the next farm, woodland strips, and in the bottom here, because this is a wet valley bottom area of this particular farm, areas where we can create more woodland and connectivity through the landscape with parkland and wood pasture. So that gives you a baseline map and a potential features map showing additional features on top of the baseline. If I could have done the interactive demonstration of the database, I could have layered the two things together. It would have made it a bit clearer for you. So the third strand would be to agree farm plans, to discuss and integrate the potential and the baseline moving forward with the tenant. So we review the existing information, the baseline, and any management required for those. We'd explore the potential plans and discuss interests and challenges and opportunities for the farm business with the tenant. So definitely knocking around the two baseline and potential plans together. And then finally and importantly, we'll agree on what can be delivered in both the short and longer term, and come up with a plan that identifies funding streams, what support, advice and training they may need to help with delivery. And these agreed plans are then wrapped up in a memorandum of understanding document which sits alongside, it's a standalone document, but it sits alongside the formal tenancy agreement. And this slide, I just wanted to emphasize that the iterative nature of the process of the learning journey we are on together with our tenants, one that uses a combination of bottom-up and top-down approaches to agreeing and delivering ambitious farm plans. Finally, I just wanted to pick up on the future and some golden threads, as I've called them, some unifying principles across the piece. There are emerging real markets in commodities such as biodiversity net gain, carbon sequestration, conservation credits, and opportunities through reverse auctions for nitrate use in catchments, etc., etc. So this whole field of evaluation is certainly growing. And the value of the full audit in turn helps us to understand what our offer could be to such opportunities. And this is rapidly proving its potential worth. And I'd like to suggest, as Rob has done, that we all urgently need to get up to speed on defining our current and future environmental opportunities. Whether that is to develop an internal market in the estate or circular economy across our own portfolios, or potentially to link to external ones with business partners. As an example, you'll recall David Hill's fantastic presentation on the Environment Bank's work. And we are in the process of exploring with David and Abby Thomas of the Environment Bank as to the applicability of that approach to the own estate. It's very important that we develop our farm tenants' understanding and build up and share as much understanding of an engagement with the debate and practical application of natural capital management on our own farms. And so we will be developing a programme of events, farm walks and talks for our tenants that will be tailored to their specific interests and business needs. And to this end, we'll be establishing a number of focus farms on the upland and lowland estate, where we can develop a more direct understanding of the real costs and issues to delivering key aspects of the natural capital plans. And importantly, these will provide field-based demonstration venues for tenants and partners to meet and help see and believe what is possible on their farms. And finally, this is my last slide. I just wanted to mention and thank our many, many partners from all sorts of spheres, academia, information technology, nature conservation, food and farming businesses. We're very grateful to them for all of their hard work in helping us to push forward the natural capital agenda on all fronts. We live in challenging but very exciting times, and it is only by working together that we'll make the difference that is urgently needed for our green and pleasant land, and as His Royal Highness says, to build back better. On that note, that's the end of my presentation, so thank you for listening, and I hope you found that useful. Now back to Tim and Matthew.